That is totally unexpected. Is this really the sound coming from a $79 plastic keyboard? Wow. Wait, hold up. Stop all the pretty B-roll. We need to jump straight into the typing test first. Welcome back to the channel, this is Scott K. Now that I got your attention, I want to introduce you to the GK87, the ever popular GK61's big brother. And this brother can sing. I didn't even realize that a TKL version of a GK series even existed. For many of us, the GK series of keyboards was the gateway into a custom keyboard, starting with the GK61 to the 64, the 68, full-size 96, and now the TKL 87. While looking for a GK61, I ran across the GK87 on Epomaker's website. I reached out and asked, hey, can I receive a GK87 to review and mod? Lucky for me, Epomaker agreed and I had one of these in my hands. The GK87 comes in two flavors, the wired for $79 and the Bluetooth capable GK87S for $89. For this test, I received the black GK87S, the Bluetooth version. In addition to the GK87 kit, you receive a nice braided USB cable color matched to the keyboard color you order. You get a fairly standard keycap puller and a switch puller. These little switch pullers are not the very best, but at least they throw one in. Finally, you get the instructions manual, listing out all the pre-programmed features of the keyboard. One thing to note is that, like the other GK keyboards, the GK87 features a fully customizable PCB that lets you program keys and macros and the like. You get a prominent Skylung logo in the front. It's a stick-on, so it should be removable. The kit also comes with plate-mounted stabs. They're okay, but should consider upgrading them for better performance. As expected, the GK87 features full KO hot swap sockets in north-facing orientation for RGB. Along with the GK87, Epomaker sent me a batch of Gateron yellows to complete the keyboard. Finally, they threw in a set of Akko PBT double shot keycaps in the neon colorway and cherry profile. Oh noes, if the GK87 has north-facing PCB, why would Epomaker send out cherry profile caps? If you install the switch in north-facing orientation like this, and try to install cherry caps on row 3, surely you will have interference issues, right? This is the Akko Neon keycap R3 in cherry profile. How does this work? So I place the cap like this, and do a quick test. Completely sidetracking here, but I took a piece of cellophane and checked to see what happens. Surprisingly enough, barely any interference here. So what is going on? So is it the switch or the keycaps that help to alleviate this issue? So I tried the same thing with KS3 Gateron yellows, the same R3 cherry profile keycap from the Akko Neon set. Let's see what happens. Once again, barely any touching, especially not enough where the cellophane gets caught and stuck between the cap and the switch. So I thought, maybe it's actually the Gateron yellow switch and their housing shape preventing this. So I grabbed the cherry clear switch and with the same Akko keycaps, also in north-facing configuration. Same test, and interestingly enough, barely any interference here as well, so the mystery thickens. So I was thinking again, you know what, it's probably the Akko caps. I bet the shape of the cap or inner thickness prevents north-facing switch interference. So I did another test. How about Gateron yellows and GMK white on black cap? Also, barely any interference here at all. So wait, is this a myth? Do no such thing as north-facing switch and cherry cap interference exist? Now I'm thinking, something is odd, until I grabbed the Tangy and did the same test. Once again, R3 row caps, north-facing switch. Lo and behold. So, moral of the story. Not all switches, not all cherry profile caps have issues with north-facing orientation. Certain ones work better than others. Today I learned that Gateron yellows are pretty good with cherry profile caps in north-facing orientation, and aqua neons are also pretty good with north-facing orientation. Tangis are not. So with a little bit of study out of the way, I placed the Gateron yellows onto the GK87, installed the aqua neons, and did a quick sound test. Not so good. Time to tear this apart and mod it. First, flip the keyboard over and remove the QR code sticker. Then, remove the lone screw from the case. At this point I was thinking, I bet the keyboard is held together by numerous screws on this plate. I was very wrong. This keyboard is actually held together by plastic clips. I used an old plastic card to pry it open carefully. Once you pry the clips open, you just lift the top case up and expose the plate assembly. At this point, you realize that the entire plate assembly just sits on top of the edge of the lower tray. It's not really mounted to anything else. To continue the disassembly, lift up the plate assembly from the front and expose the contents of the lower tray. You will see the PCB connected to the daughter board via the JST cable, and also the battery connection since this is the GK87S with Bluetooth option. Now unscrew the many screws to separate the plate from the PCB and lift up the plate to expose the PCB. Overall, a nice and clean PCB in black with clear callouts and perky RGB LEDs. One thing you'll probably notice is the strange extra sockets on the right side. The manufacturer states that this is for creative layout options in the future. Remember, this is a completely programmable PCB, so you could open up options for customization. You can also see that this PCB has many standoffs installed. We'll get to this later. Now, let's take a look at the plate. The plate is made of steel, adding a bit of heft and stiffness. It's been painted white, but overall a mild steel plate. You can see how barren and empty the lower tray is. Major source of cheap hollow sound. In order to fix this, I used various layers of deadening materials. I first placed a layer of butyl sound deadener. Then, I used my trusty zip and fit liner over it to help fill the case, add some weight, and improve the sound. Finally, I used some leftover thin foam from my GMMK Pro to finish off the front of the tray. For the plate, I cut out slivers of the vinyl adhesive foam and attach it to the bottom of the plate to fill the gap between the plate and the PCB. In order to remove hard contact points, I went ahead and removed the PCB standoffs in the center over the alpha keys. Now, work backwards and put the keyboard back together. Once you get to the top plate, place the plate over the lower tray and firmly but carefully press down to engage the clips. This does take a bit of pressure to ensure proper fitment. Finally, the one lone screw. I lubed and filmed the Gateron yellows and lubed the stack stabilizers. I put the aqua caps back on, and now let's go for a quick sound test. I feel the layers of foam in the tray really help to reduce the cheap hollow sound of the stock keyboard. In addition, the removal of the standoffs over the alphas really helped to improve the feel and sound. Even with the lubing, the stabilizers were just so-so and would recommend some Duroc plate mounts, Cherry or Everglides here. The GAT yellows and the aqua caps are good, but what about some double shot ABS and glorious pandas? I did exactly that and was astonished at the results. So what are my thoughts? For $79, I'm not sure you'll be able to find another decent TKL with hot swap, RGB, programmable PCB that delivers some great sound and typing feel such as this. Add another $10 and you got yourself a Bluetooth wireless version of that. Did I mention that this keyboard is actually compatible with macOS also? The GK series keyboards have always been a great choice for many starting out in the keyboarding hobby. The GK87 continues that tradition by offering additional function and arrow keys, great feature sets, and drastically improved typing sound and feel with the modifications, at the expense of some modability. If you're willing to take on this challenge, then you'll be awarded with a sound that you typically don't expect from a budget entry keyboard like this. Like always, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I will have more content for you in the future. Thanks.